to the Body, Mind, Spirit series. I'm Coach Shirazi.
I'm Melinda Clark.
And I'm Dr. Guadalupe.
Today we're going to be diving into the fabulous world of posture. Now, in our previous video series, you can look back, we discussed the importance of breathing and core breathing, and that plays a pivotal role in us maintaining healthy, neutral posture. I'm going to use Anthony here as a visual representation of what our posture should look like. Each one of us has a unique body, but there are some fundamental components that we want to pay attention to. Ideally, Anthony has great posture right now. We want ear to shoulder to hips to knee down to your ankle bone. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but we want to move towards that alignment. Now I want to discuss a couple postural deviations beginning with the pelvis. So here, Dr. Guadalupe is moving into an anteriorly loaded pelvic tilt, which I also refer to as Donald Duck syndrome. He's placing a little bit more excess stress on his lumbar spine and the muscles of the low back. It also lengthens the muscles of his stomach. And now most of us, we want a flat stomach, a strong stomach. If we lengthen it, it's going to be a lot harder to activate and engage those muscles. How often do we hear about, oh, my back hurts, low back hurts? Most of the time, it's coming from the positioning and the structure of the pelvis. So now engage your glutes and tuck your tailbone under a little bit. So with that subtle movement, he has realigned the pelvis, which allows better activation of the core musculature and neutral alignment. Energy flows much more easily when the body is in alignment. So that's a common postural deviation. And we also have when the tailbone is too tucked under. And now I call this Pink Panther. So there's definitely different. So tuck your tailbone all the way under. So now here the glutes are too tight. So we want to begin to lengthen and open up the hips and open up. And then so once he neutralizes his pelvis, it brings the body back into more of a neutral environment. So say you're sitting at a desk, what happens to your shoulders, Anthony? So if you're like this most of the day, this upper cross syndrome, we are going to really need to work on strengthening all the muscles of his mid, upper back, the muscles in between the shoulder blades to bring him back into neutral alignment. His posture is the beginning and end of any movement. So let's say I'm doing bicep curls, but I'm like this, doing bicep curls. This is not going to be as effective, and I'm not going to get full activation of my muscle groups. You want to be in a more lengthened, natural, neutral state, and then you would have a much more natural, graceful movement pattern. And we want to apply that into exercise, sitting in the car, sitting at work. There's so many different tips and tools, and we'll try to provide some moving forward.
Posture is something that all of us deal with on a daily basis. And just as it has a physical effect on us, it also has an effect on our mental health. So if we are at a desk or we're slouched over and that's our normal position, we are going to feel more lethargic, more depressed, and ultimately it's going to affect our self-esteem. So by being able to fully circulate the breath in our body and pull our shoulders back, we're going to feel more confident and happier.
I really enjoyed what you were just saying. And also from a physical standpoint, your posture and your body language will affect your breathing. And breathing, doesn't it affect your mood as well?
No, you're completely right, Coach Shirazi. So when we have this circulatory breath through our body, it has a chemical impact on our brains. And it will make us happier to hold our shoulders back and our head up and to take a full breath. Very much just highlighting the correlation between what's going on in our minds and also how our body reacts to that, but how also our mind reacts to what our body is putting out there too.
Right. Body, mind, spirit. Great. So I'll continue that on with the spiritual aspect. One of the more interesting things is that actually our body is speaking to us all the time. And if we were to just listen to the signals and messages that our body is sending us, we would actually align ourselves to a more natural and, I would say, strong and healthy posture. Now, in order to do that, we have Tai Chi to offer us some techniques, tools, and information to guide us to actually start listening to the message and kind of guide us into what is a strong and healthy posture. Keep that posture and take a big deep breath in. As we do that, we're going to lift the arms up and down. So we're going to go start. Now, as we do that, we're keeping all of those principles that we mentioned at the time. Getting pulled down by the earth and pulled up by the heavens. It's a very dynamic and complex thing to process, and that's why Tai Chi is said to be a very challenging exercise that stimulates your mind and body in very different ways.
In yoga and corrective exercise, we deal with similar postures all the time. Here, I'm going to show you. Now, we want to share a practical tip to improve our posture. I want you to take a couple steps in place once you get out of bed. Let your body naturally align itself. Arms by your side. Relax, shoulders relax, whole body relax. And then we're going to begin from the ground up. So, root your feet into the ground. Potentially raise your arches. Slightly engage your inner thighs. Activate your glutes. This will bring the pelvis into a neutral, strong position. And then we want to bring our shoulders back and down. We're going to open up our palms to face forward, which will provide us some external rotation and to have a broad open chest. Now, eyes closed, tongue in the roof of your mouth, and take some deep diaphragmatic breaths down into your belly. Now, for a quick recap, with the body, it's about paying attention to the structural components. We gave you a practical exercise that you can implement every day.
And remember, with the mind, what your body is doing, your mind is going to react to, and that is how you are going to mentally feel.
And with the spirit is how you're going to listen to what your body is sending you as signals and messages. Make sure you apply it throughout your everyday life, sitting, driving, and doing exercises.
Thanks for tuning in. Body, Mind, Spirit series discussing posture.